humanity takes this opportunity to display our weaponry of terrible lethality. All of humanity thinks them a triviality, ignoring the reality of the coming catastrophe, so please attend to me in dignified sobriety as I most patiently, rigorously and thoughtfully impart my philosophy of Reagan teetotality.
The waves could pull me under, the bombs could drop from overhead, your eyes could be my demise, or I could walk out instead. I'm doing fine, I'm holding out a Reagan. I'm doing fine, I'm holding out a Reagan.
Welcome to the Reagan Consultancy. Reagans can be built out of any old tat, as you can see, but they tend to be fully operational, which is what people don't realise. We better crack on. This is the molecular bond buster. This one severs the interstitial bonds between molecules, which essentially means it'll cut through anything. I used it as a can opener for quite a long time, but it took up rather a lot of space in the cutlery drawer. Then I discovered my eldest, who's operating the PowerPoint, taking the tops off out of service double-decker buses as they were going past. They were out of service double-decker buses, so that's not so bad, but the problem with this sort of technology is it's such fun to use that abusing it is very difficult to resist. So, click, click, click. It also completely disintegrates bastard PowerPoint. This is the lepton agitator, which is a nice little gun. It's set to skeleton eyes, that's always a laugh, isn't it? It's very small, too small to use with gloves, unfortunately, which is bad because it's prone to intense overheating. So to the extent that you have to drop it into a bucket of water every time you use it. Is it waterproof, you ask? No, of course not. This is the profanerizer. There's a little microphone grill on the side there, and the worse the swear word you shout into it, the more powerful the blast it emits. However, we feel that the battlefield is already an unpleasant environment without people resorting to unnecessary crude language. So we impounded this one. It's a good example of the trouble you tend to go to with ray guns. If you have a particularly violent argument with it nearby, it can obviously store up a large charge and maybe explode. So I have to sing it nursery rhymes and read it bedtime stories. We developed a bit of a relationship. There's more to ray gun care than you might imagine. Oh, there we go, the kinetic exaggerator. It whips a little weight backwards and forwards using a couple of solenoids, then hugely exaggerates the kinetic force into something that will knock a skyscraper down. Unfortunately, Newtonian physics do apply, and the recoil will take your arm off. So it's a two-use only weapon, really. The one underneath it turns squirrels into vegetarians. I don't know, but squirrel, of course, used to be a man's major predator, and there's a race memory of what it was like now, because this gun has done its work. All the squirrels are vegetarian, but people still take small children and large dogs with them into the park. This is a multi-beam. It'll fire any sort of beam that you want. It's programmable. It's from the early 1980s. You put a cassette in the cassette player on the top. It takes about 90 minutes to download, about a 40% success rate. I don't know if you see on the side there, we've attempted to install a USB socket, but it didn't take. There's a theory that we could install a 3.5-inch floppy drive, but frankly we've lost interest. And we're not really supposed to talk about this one. Okay. All right. The lepton agitator with Fadif Popov Ghost Field Smasher. And obviously that's a ridiculous combination, as you know. This is an insanely powerful hand weapon. To such an extent that, well, I mean, were I to fire it at one of you, you'd be obliterated, as you would expect. The beam would then travel through into the floor and obliterate the planet. It would then continue out throughout infinity, eventually bisecting the universe. It's got no trigger guard on it, it's got no safety catch. So we had to put all these warning stickers on it to render it harmless. I hope you're starting to get the idea about ray guns. They're basically fundamentally badly designed and very ill thought through. If you want to hurt somebody with a ray gun, I advise you to throw it at them. Pulling the trigger is basically my job, but it's not a job you'd want. This is a very good example of a badly designed ray gun. This is the interplanetary sniper rifle. But it's fundamentally flawed. It's got optical sights, and that's where the whole theory falls down. Because if you think about it, the easiest target would be a Martian. But it's not really fair to shoot Martians these days because there's not many of them left. It takes between 2 and 22 minutes for the light to reach us from Mars. And it takes a similar time for the beam to travel back again. So by the time you've fired, both planets have moved on, they've rotated, and it's only accurate to within about 850,000 miles, which we feel is inadequate for a precision weapon. Oh, the cilioscope, this is some of that stuff. This measures how far from practical or useful an object is. It's quite active, as you can see. Oh, and we're chuffed about this. This is the time travel helmet. We've discussed time travel, forwards, backwards in time, wherever, whenever you want to go. Does only take your head with it, unfortunately, but you know, we feel that's a detail that can be ironed out, although the people that have tested it aren't very pleased. Where are we going now? Oh, this is the anachronometer. It allows things from the past to exist in the present. Kim, you get your job because of this. We did sign about twiddling the knobs we could get the future to exist in the present as well, but nobody liked that, because frankly everybody from the future is a bit of a smart-ass. This is the reel-to-reality tape recorder. We're backing up the whole of reality on a fairly compressed file, it has to be admitted, but if we do something to reality that we later regret, we can cut it with a pair of reality scissors, use some reality sellotape to mend the gap, and it's all fine again. Saved me on a number of occasions, that one has. Oh, this is a passive ray gun. Basically, somebody fires a ray gun at you, and you whip this out of your pocket and pull the trigger. It gathers the ray and then fires it back to exactly where it came from. Unfortunately, rays do travel at the speed of light, which is quite nippy. So you need quite good reactions in order to use it, but you know, it's a pretty one, isn't it? This is a Stone Age ray gun. This is the Neolithicator. It uses a cold fusion reaction to produce a very feisty plasma bolt, which is the power of several atomic bombs. Which flies at the target, and then inexplicably, just before it hits the target, uses all that energy in transforming itself into a fist-sized rock, which strikes the target with moderate force. We think it's limited by the imagination of the people that built it. Most people would have ignored these pebbles and just thought they were ordinary things, but such as my expertise, I realised they were, in fact, ray gun components. Ray gun components can be found almost everywhere, and should you find one, ring the authorities immediately. Bit of Lego, bit of blue tack, could be anything really. Oh, this one kills slugs. The gardeners are like this one. We haven't found anything wrong with it, but there will be something, believe me. This one removes the interstitial spaces between molecules. We're all made up of mostly empty space, as you know. This brings all the molecules together. It's a fiendishly powerful shrink ray. We got really quite excited about this one and started a removals business with a moped and a shoebox. We shrunk down this guy's sofa and dropped it into the box, but of course it retains its mass. So it went straight through the bottom of the box, we never saw it again. Then we did some quick calculations and realised had we done his washer-dryer, as we were intending to do, there would have been sufficient mass there to create a singularity which would have caused a miniature black hole, which would have sucked in the entire planet and the entire solar system. So, my bad really. Then further from that, we realised that we had no method of restoring things to full size anyway. So the business was a bit of a non-starter, to be honest. So we put this one into storage. Oh, bit of interference there. Self-defeating weapon, this is the laser scannon. It disintegrates people, as you might expect. Then it stores every fibre of their being and soul on the really quite large hard drive that comes with it. Then should you experience regret from disintegrating somebody, which I find happens, you can plug it into the bioprinter that comes with it and print the person out again. The only problem being that the ink is really, really expensive. I can only afford to print people out about that size. Which I find leads to some bad feeling and some hurtful language. And I'm getting a bit sick of tiny people shouting at me. So there's another 30 people on there that haven't printed yet, and frankly I can't be bothered. I think we're getting towards the end now, you'll be glad to hear. Oh, this is the credible array. What it does is it makes people believe utterly every word that I say by subtly aligning reality to fit with my words. However, you use it 4 or 5 times and these realities start interfering with each other and creating interference patterns. Oh yeah, realities like my time at Space Fleet and What we got now? So we got our time on the Mars, the Martian invasion. Yeah, my time as an airship captain. NASA really hate us. The reason you find all this utterly convincing is because, for one thing, the picture is there for you to see, and the other thing is that the credible array has done its job. However, there is a chance that you think I'm talking complete bollocks, because the arrays, these realities cause interference patterns which produce that effect. But either way, it's startling proof of what I'm saying is absolutely true, if you think about it. So our basic philosophy is please just stay away from the ray. Ray guns are infinitely more trouble than they're worth. There's not many people getting this message out there. If anybody else wants to join the ray gun consultancy, I'll be ever so grateful, because it's quite lonely. But just bear in mind what you've seen here. We do have an amnesty on if you want to hand your ray guns in, and that's me and my two former selves. I'm literally self-employed. I employ my former selves as apprentices, and it's really bad actually, because every time they irritate me, I think, yeah, I used to do that. But please take this seriously. You seem to be laughing a lot, which, frankly, I'm taking a bit of an issue with. Treat it seriously and stay away from the ray. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.